Bringing down the house. Chunk, 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 chunk. Bringing down the house. Chunk, 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 chunk.
Holy
We're
shit,
back,
I almost hit my
motherfuckers.
head on my desk. Fuck. Hey.
That would have been a way to do it.
How did Josh die? He knocked himself unconscious on his desk, and
The
no
desk
one
toppled
realized.
over. And
My
it
buddy
decapitated him.
JD, who was repping the Murder Moose merch on Twitter, he was cleaning his house and he cracked his head wide open, and he had to go to the hospital and get it like glued back together.
They
that
glue it or
explains.
staple it.
No, they just glued it. They're
That-
like, here,
that
we got some Gorilla Glue. You'll be fine. It's gonna be really hot. And he's like, I'm fine. Oh my God, why is it so hot?
So you're saying that to like Murder Moose, you must have brain damage.
Oh no, you got to be metal as fuck and get your head. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Split Bope. Okay. Hi.
We are Murder
Welcome
Moose.
to Murder
part of the-
Moose.
God damn it, I can't even do the
Welcome
intro
to
with
Murder
it.
Moose.
It's episode 164, man.
Murder Moose.
It's part of the
good.
Slashing Cast
Murder
Podcast
Moose.
Network.
It's in the game. It's in the game.
Sorry.
Hey, we're just waking you up, Rod. We're just waking you up. We're getting you
I mean,
ready.
You don't need to wake me up, man. I've had a day. I worked and then I took Zelda for a long walk. We walked around and do Zelda things, and then yeah. Zelda, who by the way, tried to eat my friggin' Adderall today, and look at that, I couldn't find it, and I'm like,
My God.
where's my Adderall? And then it was upstairs, and she had chewed on it.
And all of a
Luckily
sudden,
not
the
a-
dog is
Eat it.
lying.
She's like a superhero at this point. She's like, I can do
No,
anything.
like the really bad green screening from like Half Baked, where they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And you can see the like.
It's like Sharks of the Corn quality visual effects.
I love
The
it.
shark.
When are we gonna make a movie, guys?
Okay, I'll write it. You can direct it, Josh, and Kin can star in it.
Yep, that's the plan. I produce.
She is the pretty one of us, so I mean it makes sense.
Hey, speak for yourself.
I'm not saying you're not pretty too, Josh, but let's be real.
Okay, she is the pretty one. Come on. We all know it.
Exactly. Especially now.
Yep.
Ken was streaming this morning, and I sent her a picture of a Shibari book, and I just laughed after I said it.
I lost my mind.
I was like,
great.
I was like, Ken, you're streaming Baldur's Gate 3. This should help. Blump. And she's like,
I love porn.
it's not porn. There's no
I
nudity in
love
it.
sex.
No sex in the champagne room. No sex in the champagne room.
Oh, Lord.
don't know what the
Anyway,
fuck's happening
we should
anymore.
probably introduce ourselves and not interrupt Rod this time.
I mean, we are Murder Moose, part of the Slashing Cast Podcast Network.
It's in the game.
There you go, Josh. I was wondering if you would actually go through with it at that point, but
I
did.
did. I know how to do it sometimes.
So you guys want to hear a fun piece of information I learned?
I do.
Just this Sunday.
Yes.
It is illegal to sell a car on Sunday in Colorado.
There's also that whole thing about it's illegal to put an ice cream pocket in your, or an ice cream bar in your back, an ice cream cone in your back pocket on a Sunday, and something about because like the horses would come and get it. And
In Colorado?
I don't know if that one is in Colorado or in Tennessee. I don't remember, but it's
Colorado.
It's a law that,
Colorado.
Colorado's where I live. Woo, daddy, Joshy washy.
If you live here, Ken, and we haven't hung out, I'm very more upset now.
Oh no, I would be livid. Thank you.
Yes. I would be.
She
very
was
sad.
in Canada and didn't even say hi. Didn't even come and say hi.
Canada
We're on the
is
other
not.
side.
Canada
Don't
is not
worry.
exactly a small place, Josh.
Don't worry.
I know.
I'm gonna be there. Don't
She was
you?
only 8 hours away.
Yeah, 8 hours.
Just
8.
8.
I mean, if you're driving 8 hours, you
And
better
I didn't
get
have a car, so
Yeah.
suck my ass.
She can fly though.
There's a bed
Kin can
right
fly.
here.
Look at
Right
look,
here
there's a
for you.
picture. There's a picture of her flying right behind her. Like it's Kin flying on
Is
the
it
Super
actually?
Mario 3 cover.
I want to
No,
see
it's
this.
It's the Super Mario 3 cover.
What?
You see? But with
No
Kin.
way. Who did that?
His name is Greg Pixelated Soul. He made it for me a few years ago.
So good.
It's pretty dope.
That's amazing.
And the evilest kitty around,
Sweet.
aka Weasel, is
Ah,
included.
that's so good.
It got scratched when I moved, and I'm sad about it. But
Damn,
It makes
that's
it look-
amazing.
it
I
makes
love it.
It makes it look more retro.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Hey.
I've got the funk. Kin is wearing more shirts from that show now. Kin's entire wardrobe is going to be what do you call it?
Critical Role.
Critical Role, yeah.
Listen, I have PJs coming. And I think
was
something else, but I don't remember.
Kin was talking about in her stream today how like she only wears pajama pants, and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
No, the thing is that I usually will wear, like on stream, I'll wear shorts or sweatpants. I never wear jeans on stream. I think I've maybe
Yeah.
done that like 3 times in my life. Or like whatever. But so I intentionally wore sweatpants or pajama pants because A, they're comfy, and B, because they're cute, and C, because Owen was giving me a hard time about how, like, what constitutes PJs and what constitutes just loungy clothes. So
Yeah.
I want to know, what do you all sleep in? I will go first. I sleep in usually a t-shirt or an oversized t-shirt and undies. That's it.
Josh sleeps with his moose cock hanging out and just
Yeah,
like,
naked. I would never wear a single thing
No.
ever in my
I-
life because I do like, and I wake up and my shirt is like twisted all over. I'm like, fucking, what the hell?
Now
I was
just imagine, like, if you were blessed with boobies and you had on a tank top and you'd wake up and
and your
your
tits
I
are
would
hanging
sleep,
out the
like,
sides. Yeah.
I would sleep
pushed
naked
out,
then. Are you
and
kidding?
then just
Diana and I sleep naked, and she's a freaking hot water bottle, so I literally have to be naked because it's too hot.
You
all right,
two.
Rod, how you sleeping?
I'm usually wearing like I'm a freeze baby, right? So like I have like the problem is it's that whole transition of like what am I gonna wear that is I can be under my weighted blanket for my crazy ADHD anxiety and then go off of there. And so it's like I don't know, it depends. Like in the winter we're usually wearing like sweaty pants kind of thing. Sweaty pants. God, I'm a fucking 5-year-old.
Sweaty pants.
And
Joshy
like, in the-
Washy, can we have new sweaty pants? Ooh, woo, please, Daddy Waddy.
sometimes I sleep naked. I don't know. It depends. And that's usually in the summer, but
It doesn't matter. It's minus 40. I'm naked still. There's no way. We have 2 blankets now. I can't sleep
Yeah.
with clothes on.
2 blankets, but usually, like, if you're sleeping with someone, at least when I used to share a bed with someone, we used 2 blankets so that I could have my own blanket, they could have their own blanket,
yeah.
and we could just fuck off.
I mean,
Oh no,
I sleep like
it's stacked. We have
I
2
know, I
blankets
know, I
on
know.
top, but then she
I
has
assumed.
2, and I have the one that's
See,
underneath.
I sleep like a tornado, so it doesn't matter anyways. I'm like tossing and turning all night long, so it like yeah, it's just like blankets everywhere.
And I forgot to turn the heat down before we went to bed, so I woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, and have been up ever since.
And your balls were stuck to your leg because it was so hot.
It was just, I'm like, what the hell? Why is it so hot? And then I woke up.
I
and
just
like, oh my God.
sweat all the time in my sleep. Like, certain nights I'll just be drenched, and then I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck? And there's been a few nights where I've had to like change clothes because I'm just drenched, and I'm like, I am too young for menopause. So
Night
what the fuck?
sweats.
So I got new sheets, and that helped a little bit for a while, and now it's kind of kicking back up again, and I'm like,
Well, aren't
The name of your sex tape.
also, aren't they also messing with your medication too?
Yes.
So like that probably doesn't help the whole like sleeping hot thing, right?
yes.
So
And they're getting ready to mess with it again. I just have to get a new psychiatrist. because mine is unavailable at all times. But my therapist is great.
I love my therapist, man. She's fucking like I will sit there and cry and talk for like an hour and just then be the happiest man for like the next,
Because you release
7 or 8 hours. Yeah, and then it's amazing how quickly that shit builds right back up. You're like, it's like you feel like a boulder's lifted off you, and then like 9 o'clock that same night, you're like, what is life?
The problem for me is that like crying and like, letting stuff out like that, it's never really helped. And like one of the most frustrating things ever is when somebody's like, you want to cry it out? Don't you feel better now that you've cried? No, bitch, I still want to cry some more. I'm too tired now. Like, I hate everything. I'm just too tired to give a fuck, but I'm still miserable.
Okay.
Anyway.
Just put on
Oh,
destroy
Kenny
everything, and then do some dances.
Can you need to go to one of those destruction rooms? Is what you need to do.
I do. I've thought about it.
Yeah,
I just don't know where any are.
I mean, I don't know, man. You live in the South. Like all the cool things that happen don't
go
usually
get some frickin'
exist in the
barbecue.
South. Just go get some Jack Daniels, some Tennessee whiskey.
I've
some
got some.
Tennessee whiskey.
I've got some.
Okay.
It's too bad I don't drink it.
Yeah. So how are you guys? Obviously we're talking about Thanksgiving, and it's coming out on Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving.
I thought it already came out because we already saw it.
I meant the episode's coming out on Thanksgiving. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Ow.
I went and saw the Marvels on Sunday. I was like, I'm gonna go see the Marvels. I went and saw the Marvels, and it was fun and laughed a lot and had a good time. Goose is still the best cat ever. This Space Cthulhu cat. And yeah,
I do like the Space Cthulhu cat Goose. It's a
Yep.
good kitty. Meow meow.
Yep. He's still like less angry than your kitty. So Weasel.
Don't say her
Damn
name
you.
too loud.
Damn
Stripes
you,
is
Weasel.
making biscuits.
Stripes is the definition. If you ever like Google fat cat, there's a picture of Stripes that pops up.
He's making bread, but he's also a bread loaf. So
He's a
I'll just
giant
leave
bread
him
loaf.
for everyone to stare at if they're watching us on the YouTube channel, which you should be doing and should be
Yes.
subscribed to.
Yes, and you should be doing that and wearing Murder Moose shirts like Josh while doing so. That's what all the cool kids do. Josh is sad because he hasn't gotten tattoos yet. Where are you even gonna get tattoos, Josh?
My leg.
Okay, I was gonna say your arms are pretty
They're
filled
done.
up. Yeah,
I don't have
I'm starting my second arm. I'm getting a big old grizzly bear head on it at some point.
I was
in the
hoping
near
you were
future.
going to get your third arm.
I'm not getting my
Yeah.
cock tattooed.
Oh, clown dick!
Listen,
You gotta
if
do
I
it.
had
You
a
gotta
penis,
tattoo.
if I had a penis, I'd get it tattooed.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Even just a couple dots. Just
No, you
to
wouldn't.
say
If
I
you
got
had
my
a
dick
penis-
tattooed.
It would hurt for the first week, and then you'd be like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm okay now."
Listen, you just don't be a little bitch. Get your cock tattooed and don't jerk off for like a few weeks. It's fine.
No, I'm saying you'd probably just jerk off for a solid week if you had a cock, because you'll be like, "Oh shit, wow, cool," and then it'd be.
I mean, I don't know about you, Josh. And I mean, Ken obviously has thought this out. I've had that thought of like, I don't want a vagina. Like, I'm happy with my cock. But what would
Yes,
you do
of
if you had
course.
the other genitals for a day? You'd be like, of course you would get like, you would
If
play with yourself
I-
a whole lot.
I wouldn't stop. I'd just be like,
I
okay,
don't.
I'm
I don't want to take
I'm fine
anything
now.
lightly from like. I'm not like going off like the trans community. It's just like that thought experiment. What would you do if you Freaky Friday'd into a vagina or Freaky Friday'd into a cock?
I'd
What
get
would
it
you do?
tattooed.
Oh, didn't they do that with that Ryan Reynolds, the change up or whatever? Didn't they do
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
That was like the
There was
18A
something.
version of Freaky Friday.
They're doing
I just like the
Freaky
little
Friday
dicky.
2. They're doing a Freaky Friday 2 because
Yeah,
like
and it
Jamie
looks like
Lee
shit.
Curtis was.
They
mean-
should just fucking do Little Dicky.
I haven't heard
Man.
anything from Little Dicky in a hot second.
I know. I want that. They haven't even announced if he's gonna get a next season, and I'm in love with that fucking show. I'm in love with
Dave,
it.
Dude,
right?
Yeah.
I'm just sad. I'm sad because Letterkenny's ending's pretty soon. I finally watched the second season of
But Shorzy's so much better.
Shorzy. I Shorzy has a plot, unlike Letterkenny. Letterkenny
It's
is like
just
Canadian
so much funnier.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It's like
totally.
Canadian Seinfeld. So I mean, it's whatever.
I love Seinfeld. It's almost Festivus. Oh yeah. Oh, maybe that's what I should do this year. Festivus.
Okay.
I have
For
a
the
black
rest of
Christmas
us.
tree.
So
When do
let's
you
talk
guys
before
put
we-
up your Christmas tree? Is it like, do you wait until after Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving?
Usually,
I used to do mine between Halloween and Thanksgiving. But that was because I put up like a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
This year, I'm just using my black Christmas tree that's my Halloween tree as my Christmas tree. So I just didn't take it down. I just took the ornaments and stuff off, and I'll put on new ones later. But I'm putting my fake fireplace in here as soon as it's finished, which it's almost done.
Right, like behind you?
Yeah, so it's got a mantle and everything. So then subs and tips and bits and stuff get stockings and their name written on them, and then I'll hang them all over the mantle and stuff. So I'm building
That's
it, and I'm using cardboard, but like thick cardboard, and readjusting and doing all kinds
looks-
of like fittings.
yeah.
You know what you should do?
It's going well.
Yeah,
You should
looks
do.
good.
I saw this streamer do a button where it's just a split screen of like he would go and film himself like doing stuff in the background. So you should film yourself as Santa coming out of the chimney or something, and have it be like a thing that you push. Just wait, I'll be right back, and you know the timing that it's gonna like. Oh, you'll come up. Have it. I love that thing.
That's a good idea.
That
That's a good
seems-
idea.
That seems like something Game Dad would have done, which I saw him
That's-
go live on Twitch in the last couple of days
Oh, what?
for his game
Nice.
show. Yeah. Okay. Have you guys watched anything before we dive into Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I saw the Hunger Games movie, The Ballad of
How was
Snakes
it?
and Songbirds. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, it was good. Nice.
It was.
Isn't
so
that
good, but
flopping
then-
too? With like everything is just
It's
fucking
like-
flopping right now.
Yeah, it's about on par with this, from what I could gather. The Marvels is plummeting. The Hunger Games topped Thanksgiving.
Yeah, of course it did.
But no, the Hunger Games movie was great. It stuck pretty close to the book, to be honest. From what I remember, it has been since the book's release that I read it. But
Yeah.
it was really good, and the actor who played Snow is beautiful.
I mean,
but
it's
yeah.
a lot. It's a lot to be playing young Donald Sutherland, because Donald Sutherland is one of those actors that's just like iconic, you know, iconic.
Oh.
So,
Are we doing this year, by the way? Violent Night? Sorry.
One of my mods wants to come talk about it, and I'll try to set it up. So I was going to talk about that real quick before we go into Thanksgiving. I want to do that Violent Night. I want to do Rare Exports, because you two would. It's like
Oh, that's the
Norwegian, I
one
think.
that I think we did Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I showed you before the show, but I am working
Yeah.
on a poster for that, and it's close to home. I'm excited.
Yeah. But Rare Exports is it's a fun little movie from, I think, like I said, I think it's Norwegian. But yeah. And I don't know about what else, because we got like next week we could start doing Christmas movies. So
Oh,
maybe we get. I was in Katie Peters' stream earlier, and she was talking about coming to do a movie with us. Maybe we get Katie to come do Santa Jaws.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Santa Jaws is a
Oh
movie.
Jesus!
Yes, and it would be perfect. It would be perfect. So that's some things to think about. If you guys have any suggestions, you're listening for Christmas horror. We already did Better Watch Out. We've already did a lot of the stuff that's like we did Violent Night, or we did Silent Night, Deadly Night. Did we do the second one too? I don't even remember if we did the second one, but
no. I would love to do that. Garbage
Maybe we do the
Day.
Oh,
it's Garbage Day.
Garbage Day.
Have you seen either one of those movies, Ken?
no, but I know of Garbage Day because there was a streamer I used to watch who had that as a command.
It's a very memey moment that most people. It's just like Trolls, like 2, where they're like, "He's eating them alive." Ah!
The first one, the first like 15 minutes are fucking narbar.
That movie's, yeah. Okay. let's dive into Thanksgiving, the 2023 movie from Eli Roth, and it reads as follows, the synopsis. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. So, okay, this is a question that you might have come across in the, especially the opening I want to talk about and focus on a second. Was that supposed to be satire? Because I'm sure it really came across as satire, like the whole the Black Friday thing and like everything that happens at the beginning of the movie. I don't know. Like, was I the
It
only
was
one who thought
brutal at the same time, but it was totally funny.
it was satire? It came off as satire.
I mean, that was a thing that used to happen on occasion, though. Especially
I know,
like pre
Amazon.
internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was definitely a thing. I remember that kind of shit happening.
Yeah.
There were people that died in numerous Black Friday events. And
There's
I mean, I worked a lot of
a website that has a list of how people have died on Black Friday. That's it.
Yep. Okay. Let's do something because we're this movie just came out and it hasn't got a whole lot. So we're gonna do non-spoilery, which we haven't done in a while. But
What?
we're gonna do not for a little bit, and then we'll just switch over. Like after
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to. Kim
She's
got
so,
so angry.
look at her face.
Like I just wanted to talk about that the killer is
Yeah.
and how they and
Yeah.
when the
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll do that in a little bit. I just want to give people who haven't seen this a chance to listen to us talk about it, because I generally think this movie is a lot of fun, and I think that people should be going to see it. Like, you said it only had like a $10 million budget or
15.
15.
Sorry,
and,
a $15 million budget.
and hasn't even made that back yet, which is weird because we went on Friday night. I went with my sister and one of her friends, and we had a good time. It was pretty full actually, but I ate popcorn for the first time in like years. I haven't gotten movie popcorn in since it's been probably 20 years.
I got movie popcorn when I saw it, and I saw it at like 4:40 in the afternoon, and it was stale, but I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And then I got really sick.
I went and saw it on Thursday. When did you guys go and see it?
I went and saw it Friday night.
I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's freshy.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
freshie.
Wait, did I
But-
see it yesterday? Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
What day
Okay,
is it?
today
Tuesday.
is Tuesday. John.
No, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday when you're listening to
It's
this.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
No, but it's
Thanksgiving,
Tuesday.
folks. Yeah. I think that they did a really good job of kind of like this movie felt like. I heard people talking about it being a 90s movie. I'm like, this is an 80s movie, like through and through. And I don't get where you would say the 90s stuff. Maybe like the early 90s when like they were still like.
He was ripping off Scream because he wants to make a new Scream. Like the plot and everything was Scream 6.
Oh, by the way, can we talk about Scream before we get too much into the fucking holy shit, man? Did you guys see that? They fired Eyebrows McGee today. Because
Really?
they fired her because she was making. She compared Israel to fucking creating a fucking concentration camp in Gaza, and whoever made the company making Scream fired her. So yeah, that was the big thing on the internet most this afternoon. So
I didn't hear that.
yeah, that happened like this afternoon. I think the news came out, and yikes! And so that's not a real good look. It's weird.
She
because
canceled
it's
herself.
I mean, nothing she said was like worthy of being fired unless you're like completely pro. Like if you're only pro-Israel, and then maybe I don't know. I don't know, man. It's that thing. It's that running, the old thing where like people like Mel Gibson and shit say stuff like that. The Jewish people run Hollywood, and if that's even a bit true, you were probably saying that stuff out loud is probably it can get you in trouble, and it obviously got her in trouble, man. And it sucks because I give her a little shit. I generally like her. I think Jenny Ortega's better, but she's done a really good job with some of the stuff with her and her dead father and stuff like that is a little weird. But like firing her before you even start, it's just like weird, especially because after it's not a good look after they refused to pay Nev Campbell what she deserved for this last one. So it's like, and now you're firing your main character because she was saying things that news outlets have been saying. I don't know. You reminded me when you said Scream, Josh, so I distracted us, but that was the big news that came out today, and it's just like, I hope. It's just not a good look, man. It's not a good look in a time when Hollywood is like, you guys see the thing about Warner Brothers was going to, Warner Brothers was going to scrap that whole like the Wile E. Coyote movie, and then
yeah. This is what Warner Brothers is known for now. They just are like, you know what? We're just gonna get write-offs instead of actually put out movies.
Well, the insane part was it was like John Cena's in the movie, and they said it was going to get like PG. It was testing in the 90s in the test screenings, really, really well, and they were only going to get 30 million tax write-off. I'm like, I feel like you would have made 100 million with that easy. I don't know the math of like a good family movie, like I don't know, man. I was like, okie dokie. So it's Hollywood's in a weird spot, man. It really is, and it's just like everything else, man. Everything's profit now, like everything else. We've had corporations have not done themselves any good, like in the light of the public this year. And so, the video game layoffs. I mean, people just get fired, and while they're the people who make the decisions that get us in the spots keep their jobs and their huge $1 million like buyouts and shit like that. So the world's fucked. Okay. Let's get back to
the world.
Thanksgiving.
As you know.
But yeah, like, I don't know, Josh, like maybe why do you say the Scream vibe? Because I didn't get a Scream vibe. I got, the whodunit part of it, yes. But like everything else in this, like the deaths and murder, the kills and everything like that, reminded me, were super 80s to me.
So because Eli Roth is known for the ultra gore that he does. And he pulled back a little bit, but the movie in general, like the vibe, just the timing of the kills, if you look at the structure of Scream 6 and how the police officer comes out and does this and that and then goes away and comes back and whatever, all these vibes that I got from watching the new Scream was reiterated with this one. I don't know. Like he is literally trying to make a new franchise to the level of Scream. And I feel like he's doing this is like what YouTubers do. It's like, what's working? Let's take it and then make it work for something that I already have an idea for. It's not a bad idea. I feel like if any audience is going to eat that up, it's the audience of today. And the way that Scream is being so successful, I feel like this movie has enough legs to be just as successful as Scream. I enjoyed it. If he's going to come and, rein it back, I feel like he went 3/4 of the way there with his gore and his gags. So they're disturbing as hell for people that are not used to seeing extreme violent gore. Whereas when you are used to an Eli Roth film, this is like tame for him. So I was having a blast. People were laughing and just like,
I thought it was great.
My God. It was so fucking fun.
Yeah.
Definitely see this one.
Dude,
I was laughing and a whole bunch of people around me weren't. And I was like,
dude, what?
Yeah, same.
I have to say, I saw this movie in a very close to Cleveland. I will say that it might have been, there was a very diverse audience, let me say it like that. And there are certain stereotypes that might have been going along with this movie about certain types of people while at horror movies. And it made the movie even more fun because it's like people like, oh no, you did it, and shit like that, and just yelling and screaming and like commenting. And it was, I was like, I usually hate that kind of shit, but this kind of movie, it was fucking perfect for it. It was like the most like, it was almost like the audience was participating in it. You know what I mean?
I
And
think like for me it was wild because they didn't do that, but in the Hunger Games movie we all did that. Like we were singing the Hanging Tree song when they showed the Katniss plant. Like we all like lost our minds, and by we all I mean I was one of the people, not the people I was with, but like everybody else in the theater. When this movie was going on, there were times that I was like cracking up and I would like start to laugh really loud, and I noticed nobody else in the theater was laughing, and I was like, oh. But there weren't that many people either.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I went by myself. I curled up in the seat, you know, whatever. But like nobody else was really engaged. And that made me kind of sad because those are the good experiences for those types of movies.
it was like horror is like most movie experiences. Like if you go into it, if something's really scary and the crowd is getting like scared and like the people watching it, it fucking makes you more scared because you're like in that environment.
That's how I felt in Smile. Like, 'cause I don't feel like, well, the audience was into this, but it was a light audience. Smile was a packed house, and everyone was fucking so tense. They were like, oh no, not again. Like, because it was doing such a good job. This one is like, it's almost like a porn where it's like the build up and the payoff is the kill. So it felt like slasher films are the most like porn. And for Eli Roth, he made fucking torture porn before, so it makes
there are some good kills in this movie, and like
oh my god,
we'll talk about them when we spoil stuff. But like, there's one in that I was like,
oh yeah,
like
totally
towards the middle of the film, and then but like, it is they do he does funny things with the gore too, which makes me laugh. And I of course like the father of the main character in this film is Rick Hoffman, who plays Thomas Wright, who I always think of. He was the guy from Hostel, the first Hostel, who's like the American businessman who's like paying to torture one of the characters. And I'm just like, this is another one of those movies. It's just like they just embrace the absurdity of slashers as a genre, right? Like they like let them do some crazy stuff. They kind of did some of the stuff where they're like doing modern day stuff with the cell phones and streaming the deaths and stuff like that.
Which also reminded me of Scream 5 or 4 rather.
Yeah, a lot like that. And it just, man, it was a lot of fun. And this is the type of movie that you go like, it will end up making his money back. It might not. It might take a little bit longer. But like, I don't know. Maybe this movie wasn't getting a lot of advertisements, man. I don't know. Could that have been the problem? I'm not sure. Like it feels like it. Also, it's like that weird thing too, where I don't know how many people knew that this was a fake trailer during Grindhouse, right? Like Grindhouse, which came out like 15 years ago. I mean,
I guess
Josh,
the youth of today.
The youth of today who were probably like in kindergarten when the Grindhouse came out. 1, 2, Grindhouse was not very successful, especially in the theater. Like people watched, I think more people have watched those movies by themselves as singular entities, and I think Planet Terror did. Like, I like Death Proof a lot. Death Proof is Quentin Tarantino doing a horror movie, so more than half of it's dialogue. So
and feet.
And feet. So like, I wonder though, like if that, like all those connections, and then the trailers weren't all that like whatever, and I'm not sure if all those things combined. I think we're talking about like people are all like fatigued with all these, Marvel movies and like big, franchise things that are just getting pumped out like that, supposedly. But then you do something like this that's original and like it doesn't make all that much money, and you're just like, what do people want? I mean, we almost had
want?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the theaters almost died during COVID. So like, and this, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's very weird. We have, John Woo has a new fucking action movie coming out with Joel Kinnaman or whatever his fucking name is, where he doesn't say anything the whole time, and it is a Christmas horror movie or a Christmas action movie, and I'm like, I hope that does well. Like, I don't know. It's we're in a weird spot in Hollywood right now, and I also don't know like if people know where to advertise, right? Like I think YouTube obviously is a great place you have to advertise. Twitter is not going to be around much longer at this point because all the advertisers are pulling out because Elon's a fucking verified Nazi at this point. So like with the insane anti-Semitic things he's like supporting on his own platform. So it's like maybe advertising is part of the problem. Kids don't watch TV, so it's like, how do you do a TikTok ad for something? Are you doing things on Instagram? I don't know. Like, it's a lot going on with it, man. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think that like Hollywood's in a weird spot right now?
Yeah. I think they're going to be for a while. I mean, you got to think we just came off the writer's strike and everything too, right? So like it's going to be a hot minute before stuff kind of levels out. And honestly, I think, like myself included, I would have so much rather watched this at home, even though the vibe would have been a lot better in a crowded movie theater, just because I don't want to go to the movies. Like, yeah. I was enjoying going because I was going like once a week for a few months there, but like I'm quite fine just sitting at home and watching it because then I can dick off with other stuff. I don't feel like I'm going to get in trouble, like... I don't know. So maybe it'll do even better. Maybe that's something else that they're taking into consideration when they're making these movies now, is that like box office budgets aren't the be all end all anymore because you're going to have profits off of streaming services that perhaps you didn't otherwise have in the past.
And
so
with Eli having a name for himself already, like I'm sure there's already a lucrative deal, if not, or if it was like a Paramount movie, going to Paramount Plus type thing.
Does he really though?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
No, dude, outside of fucking horror hounds like us, nobody knows who Eli Roth is. I know, but what I'm saying is he also hasn't done anything worth a shit in over a
I'm
decade.
very happy that he did something palatable though. I think he knew this.
Yeah.
He was given a platform to do whatever the fuck he wanted because he was successful.
Yeah.
And this is the thing with there's a handful of directors that we talk about all the time, like Neil Blomkamp, and the ones that are just like, oh, they were given the world, and then one movie doesn't do well, and then it's all taken away, and you got to climb that mountain again.
Yeah.
So I feel like he understood the task and was like, you know what, give me the bowl. I know all the ingredients. Let me mix it. Let's make Scream.
Well,
Thanksgiving style.
He made the Borderlands movies, so like whenever that comes out, I don't know when that's coming out. It maybe the mainstream will know him better, but like dude, his like last movie that was, I think, got any real like made money was like Hostel 2. And since then he's done the remake of his own Cabin Fever. He's done
in comparison to the budget,
I know
they made some real.
But but since then he's done nothing. Like Green Inferno didn't do anything. Like nothing he's done since then has like. I guess he did. Let's see. No, he produced Haunt.
Haunt is so good.
I'm trying to figure out what he did. Knock Knock. He did Death Wish. Neither one of those were like.
But that's the movie that put what's her name kind of on the North American map. He was the first to give her a chance, and now she's like getting nominated for Oscars. Or did she win? No, she was just nominated, right?
I don't know. I've never seen that movie. It always seemed a little creepy to me. The whole I don't know the thought process there. Yeah, I don't. I'm just saying that Eli is not as. I know Eli is not as big of a name outside of, and that's why I'm saying I'm not surprised that this didn't do anything, because even though it's real fun, it's just he's not a name that people know anymore, and especially kids, man. We were talking about how long it's been since Grindhouse came out. He's not, and think about it, dude. The biggest named actor in this movie is McDreamy, and McDreamy is target audience is 45-year-old moms.
The one girl has 26
I'd
million.
fuck McDreamy.
I would too, but that's not what my point is.
What's her name?
My point is that
the one girl has 26 million followers on Instagram.
Oh, the one from the TikTok star who has 2 lines in the movie, who doesn't really say much. I don't know
Addison
what her
Rae?
name is. Yeah, I think so. Okay. You guys here, we'll talk about, like, we're gonna dive in then into spoilers if you haven't. We just want people to have an option to listen to us talk to about it for a little bit. But yeah, the movie's a fucking ton of fun. If you like slashers, it like Josh said, I think he did a good job of doing fun stuff that isn't too like extreme.
36
right?
million.
Like it's
Never mind.
yeah. But it's fun. It's the whodunit kind of thing. This movie loves chucking like, oh, this person's a killer. Oh, this person's a killer, and it happens a lot of that film. So go see it if you haven't. It's worth it. And if you're listening on Thanksgiving, it's a good one to go watch on Thanksgiving. So go watch it. Go watch Thanksgiving. Okay, let's go into spoilers. Josh, do a spoiler alert. There's a spoiler alert. Okay. First off, what was the point that you knew McDreamy was the killer?
I felt he was from the beginning, but I wasn't positive.
I wasn't positive
So-
until
Definitely felt
they
he was
even
from
did
the
a
beginning.
bait and switch right at the end there. So I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point where I was like, oh, it's him, was because like the first scene of the movie after the Black Friday thing, or maybe it was before the Black Friday thing, they show McDreamy, and he's talking. She's like, the one woman's like, oh, a man who could bake, and then when the stepmom gets turned into a giant turkey, I was like, oh, it's McDreamy, like because of the.
I
like,
didn't even think about that. That's great.
Yeah, that was my like opening, like my eye opener. By the way, him buttering her was fucking creepy as shit.
It was so good.
It was like a sex scene almost.
Totally.
Like you're putting oil on someone or something like that. But and especially because she's awake, and you're like, oh, this is and that's the kill when he finally catches her. That is like, he puts her in the oven, and I'm just like, that was hard to watch, man. Like I think one of my most like, I don't want to die like that, being burnt alive, cooked. Yeah, that's right up there. And that scene was fucking hard to watch, man.
I loved that scene.
Did
So
you?
did I.
Okay. I mean, it was a good scene. Don't get me wrong. I just was like, you know.
I don't know. The one
What else?
where it kind of caught me off guard. The table saw, and then the guts were like, and just his reaction after, like, what do I do?
What do I do with him?
I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
like I felt for him. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
that made me feel like almost what Terrifier tries to make you feel. Like right after he kills, he goes to that like moral thing where mom's there now, and it's like, oh, and it just makes you feel like gross on top of it. I feel like they did a good
Dude,
job there.
That the fucking corn cob holders in the ears.
That was good.
Fucking that shit is like.
I loved the boat. When the bow of the boat went through the car and went straight into that dude's
Oh,
face,
yeah.
and his face
And the
was
kids
all
were
like
there.
cracked
Oh,
man.
weird.
His nose was
Oh.
like up here. Like
It was,
it was
so
like
good.
Yeah, that was good.
lopped up. I'm like, wow. Yeah, that whole like scene. That was the scene though that made me question, because I swear fucking McDreamy was in the scene, and then like the killers. I was like, what? And I don't. Maybe I need. It was one of those things where like you remember afterwards, like it was McDreamy running around in this scene, and
I love how his
So
name,
they made
it
me
doesn't matter.
question
Like,
myself.
when was McDreamy? It's been such a long time.
When
and
he was
he's
on-
still McDreamy.
when he was on Grey's Anatomy, like so back in the day, man. So like in the early 2000s.
I love how he's still McDreamy.
He just won Sexiest Man Alive.
Yeah, I know,
So
but
I mean, it's not like he's still
that's like a really
he's not
old
still,
thing for him.
And you were right though, Josh. They tried to set up a sequel because
course.
they never found a body,
course. Come on.
and yeah.
Of course.
Man, the other one that was kind of like really like kind of like when they had that girl's body in the refrigerator, and then he like puts her at the table and he pops her neck like a wine bottle with the wine, and he's like pouring her blood into the glass. I was like, what the
There's so many.
I laughed.
There's so many. But
Yeah.
this is where Eli.
I had a good guffaw.
Yeah. Eli just
Yeah.
wants to fucking make you cringe, man.
Well, I mean, when he's like telling him the dad that he's gonna have to eat his wife, that was like you're like, ugh. And then the fucking him throwing up with the
Oh, that
mouth,
was glorious.
yeah, mouth. You're like, ugh. You imagine that? Like you're like vomiting and like you have a gag in your mouth and you're just like,
It's good.
I'm like, holy shit, man.
Movie was not shy
I-
about fucking with you.
Oh no! I mean, dude, okay. Let's talk about the opening scene, like because we kind of mentioned it before. That whole scene, man, was just set up to do from the guy getting his neck cracked on the broken door, which was odd, but it
That
was like, and then
wild.
I love how he's bleeding out and still trying to get a waffle maker.
It's
He's
very
like- he's like-
consumerism.
He's like, that's why I said it's like that whole opening scene just comes off as pure satire, and it's like, yeah, that, and then like the pitcher kid's like fucking who looks like, am I the only one who sees that kid? And I'm like, he looks like the guy who plays Jon Snow. He like a little he's Hispanic Jon Snow is all I could think of the whole time I saw him. Even though like I don't know, but like that with his wrist getting stamped on, and then
that was fucked. That one
Yeah.
fucked me. I don't do broken arms.
And then the
that was
woman-
the thing, and it came out of nowhere, and I literally was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, God,
and
damn
then
it.
the woman getting her head stuck in the cartwheel
That was
and just like
awesome.
her
I loved it.
scalp
Oh.
getting ripped off.
That was rough. That will always stick with me.
I was like,
Talk about a
because
bad
this
hair
isn't like
day.
the first. Yeah, well, they do that really good job of like he builds up tension real good like when everyone's outside because you know what's coming, you know that they're gonna like get in and it's gonna be a fucking shit show, and he does a real good job just building up tension and like little like fucking with you a little bit like, oh guess what it's coming and then he lets that build up for long enough so when it happens and there's just like
Like a fucking porn.
chaos everywhere. Yeah.
He's coming.
And it's like what, three people die in that scene and they're all like pretty fucking gnarly. The wrist stomp is just like, ugh! And it's just like, man, Eli does not fuck around. And then you get all the kills after that are pretty fucking like the first kill after that scene is the fat woman from the fat
that
lady
was a
from
good
the diner who gets like cut in half by the fucking dumpster.
Two pieces.
That was so good. I laughed at that one and nobody else did. And I
Dude,
was very sad that nobody else laughed with me on that one because it was so good.
Dude, you just like it. Like I don't know about you guys. Did that like catch you off guard? Like I didn't
yeah.
see her getting cut in half, and then she gets cut.
That
and you're
was
like,
so
"What?"
satisfying.
And then
it was kind of like
Yeah.
the cheapest gag of the movie, but it was satisfying because she deserved
Yeah.
it more than
Well-
anyone.
Oh yeah, she was one of the one instigators during the fucking thing, and then he like puts her crotch on the letter for the
That's in the
The
trailer,
generic-
so that didn't catch me off guard.
I mean I didn't watch the trailer, I don't think. And yeah, it's just like, well, that woman getting her face stuck, he like sticks her face to the freezer door and just like her like scalp ripping off, and you're like, damn. It like the whole movie they're trying to make you think it's the two boyfriends, and I'm like, the one tall nerdy boyfriend, I wanted that motherfucker to die the entire movie, and then he makes it
Why?
because he was just obnoxious.
Oh, horse
he was
shit.
The skinny nerdy dude, he was obnoxious, man.
Yeah.
I didn't like him.
Oh.
I like
no.
the poor like fractured destroyed
No.
Hispanic boyfriend who had his whole like life taken away from him.
No.
Yeah,
Just kidding. I liked him too. I'm just giving shit
I
at this point.
I loved the casting, to be honest. Like everyone, I feel like it's not even like typecasting, but they're the like whole zillennial fucking shit. If you're gonna do it right. And he leaned into it, and those like tropes that kind of speak
Oh,
to
yeah.
that demographic and that like age group. And I was like, I'm so into this that he is like super self-aware because he's casting the people that are big in this scene, and he's also pandering
Yeah.
to them in a very self-aware way and not too heavy-handed either.
Yeah.
It was smart.
Dude, the jockey football player was like the perfect jockey football player. He was amazing. And I loved that scene where the fucking nerdy dude who's like, he reminded me of Ferris Bueller to kind of be like, to be honest, like he had that kind of vibe, like the little dude who just causes trouble, who was like the doorman at the party or whatever. And when he writes the paper for the football dude, and it's the teacher's paper. And he's like, she couldn't have written this better herself. Because she wrote it herself.
I missed that it was the teacher's
Oh, that was
paper
fucking
altogether.
good. That was
Yeah.
good shit.
That's why she's like, oh, that was so good of you to hearing that from you because I wrote
On
it.
my blog.
Oh, that might have been when I briefly fell asleep. Okay.
Yeah. The fucking redneck dude, the redneck with the fucking that like is pulling guns out the entire movie. Every time you see him, he's just like pulling more guns out.
I
I'm
liked him a lot.
Josh, did you just turn your like fan on or something? It got like significantly louder on your end.
Yeah.
Joshua?
Joshua?
Ooh, Joshua? Oh, his mic's out. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll keep going. But this whole movie is just like, it embraces that. I mean, the 80s had all the holiday themed slashers, right? It was like they had, Friday the 13th, April Fool's Day. You had things like, obviously Silent Night, Deadly Night. There's a lot of like holiday themed horror movies. And this just like for me, it felt like it would have fit in perfectly in the mid 80s. Like before, in the mid 80s, before they started really cutting down on gore and stuff like that.
There we go.
There you go. And it's just fun, man. Like it's I could see watching this every Thanksgiving, like right.
That's what I
before
was thinking.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's
just
why
like
I
that
asked
type of-
about Violent Night, because honestly, watching that last year, I was like, it is doing exactly what I wanted this movie to do. It is pandering like shit and literally just ripping off the two biggest movies of the holidays and putting them into one. And I want to watch this every year now. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to do it for the show.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it because I've still never seen it. I mean, and those are two of my favorite movies: Home Alone and fucking Die Hard, obviously, right?
It's literally those two movies mashed into one,
Yeah, I
and
know.
fantastic. And
Man,
a little
you know
bit of
what?
Santa Claus magic.
Yeah. I think one of the last deaths we haven't talked about, the poor Chad football guy who was the best Chad. I think might have been my favorite scene of the movie, like where I laughed the hardest, like when they canceled the football game and he's like, "Where are you going? I'm gonna go play. You can't play football by yourself, you idiot." And he's like,
Watch me.
I'm like, Chad, you were such a Chad, and I love you. He was entertaining, man. Like that kid killed it. I mean, all the kids were good. Like everyone in this movie did a really good job of acting wise, right? Especially after watching fucking Fog City, Fog City, bitch, Fog City,
Fog City, bitch.
where nobody could act. It was good to see a movie that like they nailed like the perfect like not like acting serious but not acting serious. You know what I mean? Like not like trying to make it like they were in an Academy Award winning drama. They were like, we're in a slasher movie and we're gonna act like you have to act in a slasher movie. I thought they all did a really good job. What is there anything you guys thought like would have made the movie better?
There were a few minutes that it felt a little sluggy for the movie, the style, but honestly, time wise, it was fine. Uh, yeah, I think like 15 minutes of it could have been cut out, to be completely honest.
I was having a blast. Like I was out.
Yeah.
It was the perfect timing. Like I go and see the 7 o'clock show because I'm finished my day. I can go to the mall, grab a bite. Diana is working a night shift, so she's at the same mall as my theater and is off timing wise right when these 7 o'clock showings get out. So like I got out, I got in my car and went to the other side of the mall and she's ready and gets in my car. I'm like, oh, I'm like, this is the perfect little like escape from the house, whatever. I was there with my popcorn. Oh, I love going to the movie. So
Yeah.
I was very happy to see this with a crowd and I was just having
Yeah.
a good time.
Dude, the crowd made it so much fun. It was like the perfect. Like I've never seen a movie like that where it was just like we're like yelling at the movie theater at the screen and everything like that, and just like it was such a like it was. And the problem is too, like I feel like this movie doesn't like as soon as Thursday's over, nobody's gonna go see it, right? And it sounds like not that many people went and saw it in the first place. It's just like no, I bet you in 5 years this is a cult classic, though. I bet you this movie's gonna catch on because it's so good, like for like this kind of thing.
They
And
should
this
have
is
did
like,
a I don't know, like what Scream did with their standees and made it so you could like interact with stuff or whatever. They should have like because they have to make a new mask a thing. Like the ghost face was
Yeah.
already a thing and it is now a massive thing and it's got a good look. I feel like this mask has enough to it and it's attaching itself to a holiday. It has everything going for it. They should have
Yeah.
had like promotional masks for like
Yeah.
influencers given out or
Well,
something.
I agree with that completely, but let me ask you this. What makes this mask different than Totally Killer's mask? Because you said that you felt that Totally Killer's mask wasn't really going to be iconic, right?
I
So,
think
like, what makes this one stand out more?
It's not that it
the
stands
mask.
out. It doesn't feel douchey. The Totally Killer one felt douchey.
I think this mask is the thing about it. It's not just the mask; it's the mask combination with the pilgrim hat. Like
And
those
the
two
hat
things
too. Yeah,
combined.
it's more it more has an like an iconic look to it.
dude.
And
I
yeah.
I will say the scene where he fucking
That makes
melts
sense.
he melts the mask.
Yeah,
It
I
looked
liked
pretty
it.
fucking cool. It looked like
Yeah.
it kind of looked like a like I don't know, like a someone whose face had been melted. I mean, obviously the mask had melted a little bit, and it gave it that cool look.
Speaking
I
of the mask, did you feel like at any point in time that new sheriff or the new deputy or whatever was the killer? 'Cause
not
I
really.
felt it so hard at first. Then I was like, okay, obviously that's like supposed to be what you think, but
Yeah. Well, I think the main one that I thought it was Billy or whatever, the Bobby, like was my other one. Was my one. I was like, but I'm like, because Josh, maybe that's where I got a Scream vibe a little bit. Like I was like, I almost thought like they were doing a Scream thing where they were like pointing you at the killer, so you wouldn't think it was the killer. You know what I mean? Like the original Scream, or
ah,
they're like pointing at Stu and not even Stu. What do you call him the whole time? And you're just like,
Huey
and
Lewis.
yeah,
Oh, love Huey Lewis.
I don't know where Huey Lewis came into this, but I'm okay with it. It's just like I feel like if this would have blown up, we would have been getting more like there would have been more like holiday horror slashers again. I like you could have started doing like a 4th of July slasher. Or, I mean, I guess we already have a 4th of July slasher. Let's be real, it's Jaws. But I don't know. It's just like I'm kind of bummed out that this didn't make a whole ton of money. You know, because I feel like it deserved to.
It got praised though. Like it's certified fresh. It has a wicked audience score. And I think this especially because Thanksgiving is coming up, the word of mouth is going to do this movie justice. And
Yeah.
because everyone is loving it and there's a lot to love about it, the people that don't just flock to horror movies are going to be like, okay, well, let's go and see a movie. Oh, I've heard good things, and they'll go and see it. And I hope it makes a fucking ton of money and does the slow burn. And yeah,
Like I said, I think this feels like a movie is going to be a big thing in horror circles 5 years from now, and that like even if it doesn't blow up now, I think it'll probably make its money. I mean, it's gonna make all its money back on home video and shit like that and rents. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
video.
You know what I mean? Streaming and
What
I mean-
year is it?
Home
I'm really
video.
old.
THX.
Pew!
Okay, is there anything you guys want to talk about with this before? Oh, I do have one more thing, and I'm asking myself. I really want to say I love the axe, the old pilgrim
Yeah.
axe.
Yeah, I
'Cause
like
it's
that.
I like the
It's got-
axe in Silent Night, Deadly Night better. But this
Isn't it
axe was
just
cool too.
A regular axe. in
No, it's got
Silent
the
Night, doesn't it?
double-sided one.
Oh yeah, okay.
Cool.
I haven't watched that movie since we watched it on the podcast, Josh, and I think that was like the first year of the podcast. So it was like 3 years ago. So
I have it in front of me because I'm working on a poster. So
Yeah.
it's a cool fucking.
yeah, I
It's
think
just
this movie's
cool.
a ton of. I think this movie's a ton of fun, and I'm kind of sad it didn't like make more money.
You're
Okay.
a ton of fun, Rod.
I am.
You are.
Yeah, Rod, you're a ton
I
of
am.
fun.
You are a ton of fun, Rod.
You're a ton of fun,
It's in the
Roderick.
Would you would you tell that to all the pretty little ladies with nice asses, Ken, please?
Let me just take a moment and say this. If you are single, looking to mingle and want to hook up with a hottie who's also a very kind and caring and wonderful, be sure you're following Rod on all social media and interact with him and tell him I sent you.
Yep. Tell them.
Make his dreams come true, and the same for you.
Oh, see? That's what happened.
Okay. So I have that like those movies lined up for that I'm thinking about for next like this couple weeks, but I don't like. I think at least two of them want guests, including Katie Peters. But so I think if we start off next week with Rare Exports, I think it's a good start for Christmas season. You guys.
So this
down?
is Christmas.
At Christmas time
So-
this year.
Let me see. I think it's Norwegian, but let me see Rare Exports.
So I'm
this
gonna
is
need to read.
Christmas. I enjoy subtitled movies.
I do too
lot
most of the
more.
time. Most of the time I do too.
It's a weird little movie, man. I watched it years ago, and I'm like, yeah, this movie.
Is it a Netflix movie?
Nah, I mean, it might be on Netflix, but
Are you a Netflix movie?
I am.
Am I a Netflix movie? Did you know Netflix is going up in price again?
I
It
can't. I
already
just
did.
canceled my. I just canceled my Netflix. I said, "Fuck that noise." I've canceled a lot of things in the last. Like I canceled my Shudder.
I canceled
Netflix,
myself.
I mean, that was just that one time, Kane. You're back now.
Oh, okay, good. Whew. Got kind of worried there for a minute.
Yeah. So next week is Rare Exports, and I think we should have a good time with that. I like that movie. And then we'll set up when we're gonna do Violent Night. Vissy, one of my mods, one of my favorite people. She's cool people. Wants to come talk about it, and we'll try to get
Yay!
we'll try to get Katie Peters plays for Santa Jaws. So, okay. Anything else before we wrap up, guys?
Don't
You're
forget to
beautiful.
wrap it up.
Don't forget to wrap it up, or get a vasectomy like me.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, guys.
Yes.
Okay, so go to murdermoose.com and where you could buy our merch and you could buy you could look stylish like Josh does right now.
Mhm.
Go to our YouTube and subscribe to us there.
see, boobs
go to
fit
conti-
right here underneath.
Yeah, they do.
Mhm.
Go to Kintinue.com and where you get Kim's awesome streaming schedule. Go to joshwrb.com where you get all the Josh WRB stuff.
Where you can see this
Mhm.
Silent Night poster that I'm literally working on right now. And it's made this fucking podcast glitch out a few times because I'm using too much of my CPU and GPU.
And I am Rod_Johnston on Twitch and Twitter. I'm in the middle of a tabletop RPG on Mondays on the Wandering In YouTube channel. It's a Warhammer 40K game. We've done 2 episodes and we have 4 more. It's a 6-episode thing. But those are also on the YouTube, so you could watch them if you're interested. It's a lot of really good people doing that with me. So go watch those if you like Warhammer 40K. So or tabletop RPG stuff. So real light on dice rolling. It's just mostly role playing. So I think I've rolled dice twice now in 2 weeks. So okay, everybody, thank you for listening. Go see Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you next week for Rare Exports. Bye. Bye.
It's in the game. It's in the game. It's in the game.
Oh.